one battle after another, one best picture this year. The movie was, I believe, mired in controversy. It was not a popular film. It was popular if you listen to film Twitter, but not if you talk to normies. I'm not sure normies were down with this revolutionary film.
Yeah, let's not forget it broke the streak. It broke Warner Brothers' streak of $40 million box office opening weekend.
Well, here's an article. Let me bring this up from the Wrap. American Revolution. With one battle after another, Paul Thomas Anderson rewrites the playbook for political cinema. Alan, you've got the synopsis of this story. Please give it to me.
Yeah, so this is, I believe it's an op-ed piece by Christian Lorenzen.
Yeah.
I see One Battle After Another less as a plot-driven film and more as a cultural flare fired into the sky at exactly the right moment. What strikes me most is how it arrives when political unrest, state power, and public anxiety are no longer abstract ideas, but part of everyday life. Anderson isn't predicting anything so much as tapping into the pressure that has already been building for years. The film feels less like commentary from the distance and more like it's breathing the same air as the audience. What stands out is how unusual it is for a major American filmmaker to even go here. Hollywood tends to orbit safely around history, allegory, or individual morality tales, directly engaging with the idea of rebellion inside the United States, especially in a contemporary setting, has usually been avoided or softened. When it does show up, it's often framed as something doomed, misguided, or dangerous. That pattern reflects the broader cultural discomfort with imagining systematic change, especially one that doesn't resolve neatly. That's why this film feels different to me. It doesn't fully condemn or celebrate radicalism. Instead, it lets it exist in a messy, unresolved space. The revolutionaries aren't glorified heroes, but they're not reduced to cautionary tales either. That ambiguity mirrors the current cultural moment where institutions are being questioned, but no clear alternative has taken hold. The film captures that in-between feeling, where people sense that something is off, but don't agree on what comes next. I also think the use of mainstream filmmaking tools is a part of the statement. Big stars, humor, spectacle aren't just for entertainment. They act like a Trojan horse, carrying political charged ideas into a space that usually avoids them. It's kind of a balancing act, using the system to critique itself without being rejected by it.
Well, I would disagree that I think the movie does celebrate. They're clearly the film is on the side of the, let's say, revolutionaries in the movie, and clearly not on the side of law and order, represented by the sort of perverse character that Sean Penn embodied. Would you agree with that, Alan?
I would. Okay, so
I don't think it's ambiguous. He's saying it's ambiguous and reflects the moment in America. I'd say the movie is clearly on one side of this issue. Did I read it wrong? I mean,
keep going.
No, go ahead.
Okay. I mean, to your point and to the point of it, this to me reminds me of the criticism I got and you got reviewing this movie. We basically said it was pro Antifa. It was uplifting. It was like, it was basically a recruitment film for Antifa. And people will then come and criticize us. No, you're making this too political. It's just a movie. It's just a story, blah, blah, blah. And then here comes this person, Christian, who basically says what we've been saying it, but puts the liberal spin on it. Because we've been saying exactly what Christian has been saying, except we've been saying it as the cautionary tale. That this is, that this is where, it's like this should be a cautionary tale, but instead it goes with what Christian says is, he seems to feel that it was fairly neutral. But I really think it leaned a lot to the left. And the point I'm making here is he's now confirming what we've been saying and proving that all the critics who have been coming after us saying it's a political film, been proving that they were wrong all along. It is a political film.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would agree with that assessment. I just wonder, I mean, I think people are going to look back on the Oscars and feel like they made a big mistake. I really do think of the movies that were nominees, I think Sinners should have been the winner. It was the more popular movie. But One Battle, I guess it was Paul Thomas Anderson's turn, is what some people argued. I don't think this movie will age well either.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we'll see. Maybe when the past is behind us, and we look at maybe this era of American history, like, wow, we really went kind of nuts. All that craziness in Minnesota and Portland and all over where people did things normal, maybe we were kind of out of our mind. And maybe it does, but I think in the current moment, I think it was ill-timed.
Yeah. When the fascists put all the conservatives in concentration camps, this movie will be it's a banner film.
Well, it's not as if there's some phantom organization funding racism and whatever because it's in such short supply or some sort of you fund the other side. Like because with sort of all the
see, that's conspiracy theory. That the idea that you would give money, like say to the Ku Klux Klan to keep them alive and growing, so that you can justify your need of existence to battle the quote unquote enemy that would have died out financially if you had not been funding them. Well, is that what you're saying?
I'm not saying that. I'm saying I think if you look at current events, a lot of things are starting to come to light.
Okay.
And we're gonna look back on this era with a different lens once even more comes to light.
Quite frankly, it is so far-fetched.